What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Now, I gotta be honest, I've been really getting back into Battlefield 2042. It's not really the best Battlefield game out there, but in terms of Battlefield vibes, only in Battlefield moments, the polish that has happened over the course of the year, the reworks, the additional portal weapons, being added into the all-out warfare content, all these things have made it a tad bit more replayable than it was before. Before I can only hop on for like one match and I'm already done. I can actually play for long periods of time. But it's not just because the game has improved by the developers. I gotta say, it really comes down to the matchmaking as well. And if I have to compare Modern Warfare 2 to Battlefield 2042 at this current state, I gotta say, if you are looking for a casual FPS experience, if you're looking for a game that's going to allow you to kind of sit back and enjoy the day, I think you might be better off getting Battlefield 2042. And I'm shocked saying this because, I never really claimed that this would be worth a lot of money. Maybe on sale for $20, or you can get it on Game Pass, but to cough up a full $60, $70 on this game, I don't know if it's exactly worth it. But my goodness, with how casual it is right now, it's a night and day difference between playing Call of Duty and Battlefield 2042. Now, I gotta be real, I'm not saying Modern Warfare 2 is a bad game in any way, shape, or form. And I do understand that's a really hot take, I understand that that's not a popular take. People really hate this game. But at the end of the day, I can't lie about how I feel about the game. I enjoy the gunplay, I enjoy the movement, I enjoy the action that's in Modern Warfare 2. So I have fun, but I only really play with a full 6-man party. I play when I'm live streaming, which you guys can catch my stream every single day over on Twitch. The link to that is down in the description of this video. But I stream every single day. That's usually when I play the game and get my clips and footage for, the YouTube content that you see right here. And throughout all those streams, we do open lobbies. Anybody's welcome to join, anybody's welcome to play, and typically we always have a blast because that is how you can kind of have a partial workaround to the skill-based matchmaking when it comes to Call of Duty. Because let me tell you something, when you go to solo, it's a whole different experience. And I know everybody's going, oh, well, JB just made so many videos defending skill-based match. I know I'm going to get this every single time. I mean, if you watch the video that I made, obviously playing devil's advocate, I never supported skill-based matchmaking in the first place. Please, for the love of God, watch the content, people. Watch the content before you start putting words in other people's mouths. Obviously, in the content creation scene, it doesn't hurt you. It only hurts the content creator. So, you probably think it doesn't matter. But let me tell you, when you translate that over to the real world, trust me, it does not work any way, shape, or form. It's just going to go right back and slap you in the face. So please, try to beat that habit. Try to beat it. But like I said, the skill-based matchmaking while playing solo in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, just like in any of the other Call of Duty games, Modern Warfare 2019, Black Ops Cold War, Vanguard, playing solo is just a nightmare of an experience, and it puts you into lobbies that are just the absolute sweatiest of the sweat. Which for me personally, I don't really mind from time to time because, I can get pretty competitive here and there. So when I verse people of my similar skill, I like to go at it. But there's two things that made matchmaking so unique in Call of Duty back in the day. One, the random factor. You didn't sweat every single game that you played. You either had, a regular game where you verse sweats. You had what we will call a god lobby where everybody is severely under your skill level and you could stomp them out. And sometimes you would have a nice little in between. That's the rotation you had, but it never was lopsided. Some days maybe the matchmaking was clunked up, but typically it's never lopsided. So that is what made the matchmaking so fun back in the day. And on top of that, the team balancing is, let's be real here, a disaster. When you play 6v6, 9 times out of 10, if you're playing solo, your team is not going to be anywhere close to your skill bracket. But I guarantee you, those enemy players, not only will they be in a full 6-stack party, but they are going to be equally, maybe even above your skill level, to be honest. And it just becomes a bit tedious. You can stomp, you can still survive, but trust me, they're going to be calling in chopper gunners, they're going to be calling in AC-130s, they're going to be calling in endless UAVs because your team, like I said, isn't up to par to your own skill level, which is why I stay away from solos altogether. But those two things are what makes the matchmaking just completely unbearable for me right now. But when I go over to Battlefield 2042, I don't experience any of this. And I'm talking about heavy hours. 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, even if you want to push it that far. I bet you going 8+ hours, you could probably get the same results, but 5, 6 hours, I mean, I didn't sweat a single time throughout that whole experience. And I mean nonstop running through matches. I'm not taking any breaks or anything of that sort. We're just going game to game to game to game to game for all of that time. And I have not had to sweat once. Now, of course, there are going to be high skill players in some of these lobbies. It just is what it is. That's how it goes down sometimes. But in Battlefield, I feel like there's just freedom to every single player, to every single play style. However you want to play Battlefield, you can go ahead and do so. Even when I'm getting whooped up in this game, I can still find a way to just, enjoy the game some way, to relax, to kick back. And at the end of the day, if you lose a game, it's because overall your team did not put together any collective effort. That's the best part about Battlefield, is that without any communication, without any voice chat or anything like that, if you're just simply a Battlefield player, you just synchronize together, and it just works out that way sometimes. And it feels absolutely outstanding. And sometimes you get whooped. Sometimes you have outstanding games. But at the end of the day, if you want to experience the game in the most casual way possible, you are allowed to do so. The algorithm is not going to force you into any lobbies where you're versing 24/7 sweats. Even if you hop onto TDM or Rush, where the player count is, extremely reduced down. Still, the skill-based matchmaking is fantastic. It just seems like, as always, it tries to find the best connection, which it should be doing, and then obviously players come next. It doesn't matter what skill bracket you are. They try to balance it out, of course. It's team balancing in the game. They're going to balance out the teams to make sure that both teams has, an equal amount of these tier players, an equal amount of these tier players, an equal amount of tier, But at the end of the day, they're not trying to make every single game a $50,000 tournament. And like I said, in Call of Duty, I can kind of cheat around this by getting a full squad, but I shouldn't have to do that, I always grew up a solo player in Call of Duty, and that's just simply how I played. I would hop on, I would play S&D, I would play TDM, I would play Domination, and yeah, I would play with homies. Yeah, I would play with friends. But if I wanted to play solo, I was allowed to do so. I wouldn't be afraid or, stressed out about doing it. And I'm not saying, I'm afraid of competition or I'm afraid of getting whooped, because I'm not. And like I said, I can compete. You guys can tune into the stream whenever you want. And like I said, watch me for hours and hours and hours on end to see if I'm a bad or good player. It's up to you. Obviously, that's all your own opinion. But honestly, it's not very enjoyable competing against a bunch of sweats unless I have sweats on my team as well. It's just not fun. I'll enjoy it if I have an equal team, but 9 times out of 10, you're not. You're going to be pub stomping. But at the end of the day, like I said, streaks will still be rained on you. And it sucks that way. But in Battlefield, both with a full squad or solo, it doesn't matter how you play this game, it will always be casual. If there's one thing that I can respect out of 2042, it is exactly that. Because I've been craving a game that delivers this. And like I said, Battlefield 2042, it wasn't the game before. It was lacking way too much to even be considered a Battlefield title. But with all the work and effort they put in, rehiring all of these OG developers who worked on Battlefield back in the day, like tons of goats who actually rebuilt Battlefield 4 to make it into the best game that we know it as today, and also other incredible developers, I can see the progress being made, not only with, the potential future Battlefield title, but also with the current one as well. So with that being said, I'm able to get back into the experience, and now that I'm getting back in, I'm truly seeing that, man, this matchmaking, Battlefield matchmaking in general, it doesn't matter what Battlefield game you play, Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, Battlefield Hardline, Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, it doesn't matter where you are at. Battlefield matchmaking is just the best matchmaking ever known to mankind. And like I said, even though it gets lopsided sometimes, as all men, nothing is perfect in this world. Nothing is perfect. But at least I'm not sweating my butt off every 5 seconds I'm on the game. And like I said, even when I do get those sweaty lobbies, I still don't feel overly stressed. If my whole team is getting wiped, it's like we're all getting wiped. There's 64 people getting wiped. It's a team effort. So it feels less stressful as a 6v6 where, you feel like your individual status, means a lot more, which it does actually. I'm not saying it means, it really does mean a lot more. Because it's only 6 people on your team. If you don't carry your weight, your team is drastically down. One player is massive in 6v6 compared to one player out of 64 players. So when you get whooped in Battlefield, yeah, it sucks, it hurts, but it's not like COD where it's like you're doing it again and again and again and again. It's like, oh man, driving you nuts. No, you can relax and enjoy it. I highly do suggest trying this game out again. I know some people have some trials of Battlefield 2042. Try it. If you have Game Pass, try it. If you see it on sale for $10, $15, try it. I mean, just a AAA game in general being that price tag should be a steal enough as it is. Give it a go. See if you actually like it. See if you hate it. If you just uninstalled it, reinstall it. I really do think if you are one of those people who just wants to kick back after a long day, you would much rather spend your time here than in Modern Warfare 2. Unless, like I said, you have a full squad. If you have a full squad, then by all means, you could probably, work your way through Modern Warfare 2. Like I said, that's why I do. And if you need a squad, by all means, like I said, tune into the streams, open lobbies all the time. We have open squads every single day. But if you're solo, you're just trying to kick back late night, this is the go. You got to take my word on this one. This is the go. Hours and hours and hours and hours of testing this out, multiple days across the board. Weekends, weekdays, testing out who's online, who's offline. Every single lobby is pretty much populated right now. I'm not running into too many, matchmaking issues. And on top of that, the matchmaking, skill-based matchmaking to be exact, is 2 down extremely low. I really do not think it could get better than this. And I do want to quickly mention that I do understand that, having 64 versus 64 makes the matchmaking more lenient. You'll be taking 50,000 years to try to find 128 players of your similar skill bracket, So to make sure the matchmaking moves quickly, they have to make it a little bit more lenient than something like 66, where obviously with so many people on at once, all you need to find is 12 or 11 individuals, I guess I'd say, not including you, that are equally skilled. And it's much easier that way. So I understand that the player count drastically matters in this. That's why in Modern Warfare 2019, I went to Ground War. That's why a lot of people are enjoying Warzone more than the original Call of Duty experience. It's just tremendously more casual, way less stressful, and it's more easier to just simply enjoy. But at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to the Battlefield community. They just aren't built like that in the sweatiest possible form. And yeah, like I said, there's really good players in the Battlefield community, but at the end of the day, they're not going to get super furious over getting killed. They're not going to get absolutely, rage rampage over anything in the game. Everybody's just kind of hopping on to casually vibe out. Some people will get mad when they lose and all, but seriously, it just doesn't feel sweaty. Every single person I see in the game, I don't feel like I'm drenched. I don't feel like I have a towel on I don't feel like I'm just dying. Even the sweaty players who, who are slide jumping or who have really cracked aim, it just feels like, if they're over on C flag, I'll go over to A. You know what I'm saying? If I don't want to deal with them, I don't have to deal with them. That's the best part about it. The maps are big enough, there's enough players in the lobby that if I don't want to deal with the sweat, they could track me, I guess. But at the end of the day, if I don't want to deal with them, I'll go over there. I'll avoid them and go to a different side of the map. Oh, man. I just got to say, it's very casual right now. And I think a lot of you guys will enjoy it. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button. Say hate it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new and enjoy the content, subscribe, hit that notification button. Also, want to chat with me, there's 2 we do so, our Twitter and Discord, both linked down in the description. And also want to catch me live streams of video games, do it on Twitch, link that in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.